All right, another Turtle product. We have the latest of the NECA 2-packs. These are Walmart exclusives. This is the Shredder and Leonardo Rooftop battle scene. This is pretty much, I want to say, they're rehash of previous releases of both of these characters, but there's going to be some new paint deco on them as well. And I think the accessories are a little mixed up because it's from a different part of the film, but we'll check it out anyway. We're going to compare it to the mainline release of Leonardo and the, well, not the mainline release of Shredder, but the Shredder from the Capture of a Splinter SDCC exclusive, which is the same exact as the mainline release of Shredder, but we'll be taking a look at that. On the back, you can just see some of those rooftop battle scenes here between the two, and that's really all that it's capturing. So these are kind of fun. If you missed Leonardo in the main line and Shredder in the main line, this is a great way to get them right now, because the only one out is the Ultimate Shredder from Secret of the Ooze. And then there's a second 2-pack, which we haven't been able to track down yet, and that's Casey Jones from sort of the cut scenes sort of series of NECA characters that we've seen. We've had that Kevin Eastman, we have the Shredder's Throne coming out, and these are all scenes that never made it into the film, but were either on the collecting cards or some of the behind the scenes material of the scenes that never made it in. So that will be another one. So for now, let's check out this 2-pack of these classic characters being re-released in sort of a little bit of a new format here. So the question you're asking yourself if you're watching this is probably the same we had, is this different enough to warrant spending $60 on these figures? If you bought them already the first time around, you already have Leonardo either from the 2-packs or the 4-pack, and you probably have Shredder from his single release. I don't think he came in a 2-pack, I can't remember, but he came in a 4-pack, and that's when we got him in the Capture of Splinter 4-pack. Now, looking at the accessories, I believe he has the same amount of hands. Maybe missing one pair, but he has 2 of the left hand with the blades on him and 2 of the right hand without the blades on him. He has his spear that was sort of unique to the end of the film. He has this extra axe that he came with. He has a knife and sheath. Odd part is he never had a knife and sheath. I don't recall that in the film. Tatsu did. And we did our review of Ultimate Tatsu. He doesn't include the knife and sheath, but you could take it from one of the Shredders and give it to him, and it works out. What he is missing, though, is his cape. Now, the cape was pretty much, I think, just in that one scene when you first are introduced to him. So he would not be in the rooftop battle scene, so it makes sense they didn't include it. It's also a way for them to save money on having to include that in here. So that is missing from Shredder. Looking at Leonardo, he has a couple alternative hands. I can't remember if he had 4 or 6 hands, but either way, he has some extra hands here. And the only accessories I recall him having were his swords, which he has. So he has his katanas, he has his holsters. So pretty much the same in that aspect. So they didn't really change much on the accessories except for the cape. We'll check out Shredder here, wearing his purple sparkly pajamas. And I think they did a great job capturing that. The head is tough to get out. Here we go. All right. So we have Shredder here, and he has his purple sparkly pajamas. He's going to have the removable mask, I'm sure. Let's check that out, because that was standard for the way this was tooled. So you can remove that and then see his face under there. Same articulation as the original Shredder. He still has that elastic belt on here. So if you wanted to stick a weapon in it, you could do that, and that goes all the way around. So elastic belt. So pretty much the same design for Shredder. I'm just going to throw this mask back on really quick. And I think that is basically all that we're going to see on Shredder here. There's no other additional hidden feature. He did take the mask off at the end of the film, so that it was your best chance to see his face. But he has the same, these are all the same flexibility as they had last time. I don't see any other differences on Shredder here, and we'll have to compare him, we will in a moment, to the original release of Shredder to see what's different. Now, over to Leonardo, and I think this is where the only differences are in this set. So this is from the fight scene at the end of the film, where they were battling Shredder, and not doing so well, until Splinter stepped in and saved them. But this Leonardo is going to have some bruising on him, and I could see that. You could see it on his face here, on his head. You could see some on his arm, some on his inner leg, on his shoulder. So I think they just did a little bit of a spray job on here to give him a little bit of a bruised look. And I think it's an alternative head sculpt too. We'll compare it to the other one in a moment. But that is primarily the difference. I think it's primarily just going to be the beat up looking Leonardo. And that is the only difference between the standard line release and this new line release. But if you missed them the first time around, this is actually a great way to recapture that character and put him into your line, particularly with Shredder, which is a fun character to have in line as well. But he's kind of missing that cape, which annoys me. Like, they could have thrown it in. I know it wasn't appropriate to the scene, but if you missed out on Shredder, this would be a great chance to get Shredder, and I would spend that money just to get Shredder in there because he's not cheap now that he's been out of release for a while. So this would be a nice chance to get him again. All right, let's grab those other two original, and we'll take a look at what is different and what is the same. Let's start with the Shredman here. So here is the standard release of Shredder with that cape I was talking about that kind of just sits on top of his shoulder pads there, and you have that scene where Tatsu takes it off of him. And it's a nice draping cape. It goes all the way down behind him, and you kind of shape it a little bit to be however you want. But this is the cape that I'm talking about that is not included with this version. So if we slide that off, we can see our baseline Shredder here. Extremely similar. I don't see any differences on here. If you guys are seeing them, let me know. But extremely similar in appearance to this Shredder. We'll take off this mask to see if it's any different underneath. And I think the face is cast exactly the same. We'll split two here just to see. But I think it's going to be remarkably the same. I think that maybe the paint application is a little different, but I think the face looks a little bit more scarred than this face, and I don't know if it's just the way the paint application was on there, but that's the only difference I'm noting. The helmet's a little more rigid, you could see, than this one here, a little bit more, but that's really it. So I think this is a one-for-one re-release of the original Shredder. No change whatsoever. So you're still getting that, and the masks are even the same. There's no difference in these guys. So your Shredder you're getting is exactly the same as your previous Shredder, but Leonardo is where we would see our difference. So here is the standard release of Leonardo in his TMNT 1990 movie release, and then here is the new version of Leonardo. So let me see if I get them looking the same here. So the head sculpt is different. We get this different head sculpt. It's got the bandana going one way. You might be able to pop the bandana out, switch it with the other ones. I don't know. I don't feel it having any give, but that was one thing you could do with a lot of these bandanas is pop them out, and they had drooping over the shoulder going different ways. But you can see the head sculpt has a grimace on it. There's all that bruising on the head. It's going to be unique to this turtle here. So you get a bruised Leonardo. But other than that, he has all the same proportions and dimensions. The shell is a little bit lighter, I want to say, on this one than this one. And it gets even darker when you go over to the whatchamacallit, I'm sorry, Secrets of the Ooze version of Leonardo. Yeah, I want to say it's looking a little lighter here than this one, which was much lighter than the other one. So that's the other difference, is just the way it was colored. But this is, yeah, I mean, I want to say very similar here. The bruising you can see on the cheek is a little bit more pronounced than this. He's got a lot more spots on his head than this Leonardo too. But the body is pretty much the same. I want to see everything kind of lines up, where all his spots are and everything. So that's pretty consistent here. So they kept it same. They just kind of retooled the head, basically, to make it a little bit more bruised and give it a different headband and everything. But that is your primary difference there. You can see the holsters are the same in the back. So everything else is the same. So what you're getting with your new version here is you're getting a beat up looking Leonardo, and you're getting a re-release of Shredder here to go along with him without his cape, but he still has his classic spear accessory, which is a lot of fun. But that is really it in terms of the differences. And I believe that wraps us for these two. This Walmart exclusive release, facing off as their rooftop battle scene. Leo looking all bruised from the fight with Shredder here. He still has his swords. He can still be fierce. And he still has his holsters. He has everything. It's just a retooled head, a bruised up body here, and then Shredder is still Shredder. He's just missing his cape, but he has all his other accessories, still that removable mask, still the same face underneath. So no change here. A paint application change here. So your call. If you missed this out the first time, you didn't get either of these characters, great way to get them in line. Fun little scene to have to build out. If you already have them and you're a diehard collector, then you're going to get a bruised Leo is what you're going to end up with here. And it just gives you another Shredder so you could have him in multiple scenes. So you have Shredder wearing his cape somewhere, you have Shredder on the rooftop battle, you have Shredder falling into a garbage can. Depends how many Shredders you have, or I'm sorry, a dump truck. So you could have multiple Shredders. But there's no change in the Shredder here, so you're paying for pretty much $60 for a paint job change on the turtle. Up to you. It's a Walmart exclusive. If you're waiting for it to go on sale, I have not seen NECA stuff go on sale really, unless it performs really poorly. I mean, the Secret of the Used foot soldiers are still $60 from 2 years ago, so just something to think about. If you can track it down and you want it, I probably wouldn't wait, because if anything, it'd get more expensive and not less. The only other one they have, like we said, is that Casey with the bike, so we'll check that out when we get our hands on it, but I haven't seen it anywhere yet. But these guys I have found at local Walmart. Haven't seen it quite online for shipping yet, but keep your eyes peeled. We'll put the link at the bottom of this video so you can check out the link down there for the item, and just keep your eye on it at walmart.com. So that's all for this time. We're going to have, of course, more Turtles products coming through the chain here, even some for our gift guide that Playmate sent us. So we'll be showing you some new releases. That'll be fun little stocking stuffers or other gifts this year. And of course, that Technodrome, ours is coming to us. We're told finally have a date on it at the beginning of December. So we'll be reviewing that once we get it. But if you did not order that back in July, you're not getting it until next year, apparently. We ordered it in July and we're not getting it until December. So yeah, so we'll take a look at that. And we'll have tons of more products back here. We'll finish up our Fantastic Four series. We have a great Marvel series to start, a vintage Marvel figures. And we have a ton of new products we want to feature as well. So like, subscribe, and follow. We'll see you guys next time.